So hello, you know when we're in London, and we do this quite regularly on the channel, we say if you're somewhere, get out Google Maps and have a look and see how far it is. And we love to demonstrate that London is, well, quite close. And you don't necessarily need to jump on a tube or a bus unless you really want to, and you can walk London. And this is what we're going to do today. And we're at Lambeth Bridge. We're looking out over this side of Lambeth Bridge, away from the Houses of Parliament, which is the typical view you get. And the reason for doing that is they've actually got the other side of the bridge up. So actually you can't see anything apart from roadworks. There you go. It's a quick one on that one. So loads of construction going on at the moment. But today we're going to walk here from from Lambeth Bridge, which is the one which is next to Westminster Bridge, and is the one coloured red, which I know I've covered in previous videos, but if you haven't seen that, Lambeth Bridge is red because it represents the House of Lords, which has got red benches, and Westminster Bridge is green because it represents those in the House of Commons, and that's also the side they are in the Palace of Westminster, so hence you've got the red that's down there. And we're going to walk over here and take in some beautiful scenery as we head out towards Piccadilly Circus. So it'd be interesting to see how long it actually takes to get to Piccadilly Circus. Shouldn't be that long, I reckon, probably about 20-25 minutes. But let's give you a view on the way. And also, I love this. You've got these little steps, so actually you can get a really good view of the Thames and of London as well. And here we're looking towards Victoria, but we're also looking around the corner after the next bridge, which is the Vauxhall Bridge, which takes you around to Battersea. So again, showing you that, let's get down from there. You don't want to climb up there too high. Showing you once again that everything really is quite close. So Lambeth Bridge itself, there you go, you can see the sort of redness, which is now sort of pinky. It's gone in the sunlight. So you've got Lambeth Bridge, as I said, Westminster next to it. And what's really interesting is Westminster Bridge is probably one of the busiest bridges to have pedestrians on, because you've got the House of Commons, Palace of Westminster, Big Ben, etc. Whereas this one is very, very quiet. But you've got these obelisks at the front as well of this bridge, which have got pineapples on, which are meant to represent peace and prosperity. And you'll know if you've taken it recently, we had a little competition on there. And apparently Christopher Wren wanted to put a pineapple on the top of St Paul's Cathedral, on top of the dome, because he thought it represented peace and prosperity, but he wasn't allowed. There you go. Right, so we're going to get over this busy construction area. Oh, and by the way, if you're coming to London, you're always going to find construction. That is just half of the course. But the good news is, there's always ways around it. So what we're going to do is go down by the side of the Thames, but go through a park, which is the Victoria Tower Gardens. And I love Victoria Tower Gardens because if you go through there, you've got a big space of greenery. And you come down here sometimes and you can see politicians from the House of Parliament being interviewed by TV people, because the TV studios for the Parliament, etc., are in those buildings over there on the left hand side. But as the leaves are out, the tide is also out from the Thames, so let's get a little bit of that view as well. So we're nicely in the shade. Temperature today of recording this is a balmy 28 degrees. It's a warm one. So actually it's lovely to be in the shade. I'm not burning my board bits. There you go. That's the bridge that's being worked on. You can hear the construction going on in the background. You've got Lambeth Palace over the other side of the Thames. And also a rather beautiful church, which we will bring you at some point soon as well on the channel. But then as you go down further, let's just give you a swoop round here so we can see with the trees. So you've got Lambeth Palace over the other side, then there's this swoop round. Actually you can't see it through the trees, so we'll go a little bit further round the construction that's going on in the middle of the park here as well. I'll show you Westminster Bridge. But what we're going to do first is walk underneath and right round by the side of the Palace of Westminster. So this area is called Millbank, which is over here. And you can see right in front of us, that is the Victoria Tower as part of the Palace of Westminster. And underneath the Victoria Tower, right at the bottom, is where the Speaker has his chambers. And you can tell it's a rather beautiful day because people are just sitting out and enjoying the garden. And who can blame them? What a good idea. Right, so here they were doing repair works on the Buxton Memorial. So that's been here since 1865. And I know they've done some work beforehand, but they're getting on with it, and they reckon it's going to last until late spring 2025. So if you're coming over this summer, it might actually be open by then. But it's a big memorial, which is right in the middle. Now, you know I said about TV cameras. Here you go. Something's obviously happened here, because it's all set up. Got the lights, etc. Now, if we go over here and just peek through from under the trees, we go see the London Eye. And you've got the Albert Embankment over the other side there. And you can just make out Lambeth Bridge. Lovely little park to come to. Never madly busy, although it is lunchtime, so people are in here for their lunch. And let's just see if we can get you a clearer view, because they've got some construction work going on by the side of the Thames at the Houses of Parliament. And just over there, so we can zoom that in, you can see the red London buses going over the end of Westminster Bridge. Not only that, you've also got a cruise liner coming through, the London Eye River Cruise, which is certainly one way to see London, and I would highly recommend seeing London by boat. I personally use the Uber Thames Clipper because it's a lot cheaper. You can jump on and off, and it's just a nice way to do it. You don't feel like you're crammed in with 5,000 other people. Probably a little bit of exaggeration. Right, how about that? That's the fire rescue service on their fireboat, just popping up the Thames. Thankfully, not in a matter of urgency, which means all is good in the world. Thank goodness for that. And as you can see, the Thames is out a bit, and you can see here where once upon a time that would have been a jetty. You can see what the ravages of time and the Thames have done to that over time. So at some point, there you go, that would have been used as a jetty for mooring up. It's amazing what you actually discover when the tide goes out. No one down there today doing any mudlarking? It could be because there's not easy access. Okay, I mentioned Uber boat. There it is, just going across Thames Clipper. And on a day like this, I'd get out the back, sit out the back like those lovely people are there, and get a beautiful view of London, because then you can jump between one side and the other and get your video and take your pictures. Yeah, we'll have to do that soon. Okay, stopped here gassing for too long. Time now to take a shortcut across. Not walk round. Looks like we've got a coffee shop over in the corner there as well. Well, how about that for a view? And I've just realised actually, I think this is the first time in many years, there's no scaffolding at all around the Palace of Westminster. In fact, scaffolding had been around Big Ben, the Elizabeth Tower. Don't even hit it, don't even think about it if you're thinking, oh, it's not called Big Ben, that's the bell. I know it is. But anyway, no scaffolding around that. Also no scaffolding around the towers or the roofs, but also some of the centre towers have had scaffolding around for ages whilst they've done those up, and that is now gone. So now is a perfect time to come up here and get your pictures of the Palace of Westminster whilst there's no scaffolding around the tops of it. Amazing. And also, just to show you how beautiful the gardens are, let's sweep round there. You've got these big things as well. Wow. Not sure what they are, but someone I know will drop it in the comments. But they're big, aren't they? God, don't even think I've seen those at Kew Gardens. But anyway, that's all here at the gardens underneath. And then when you come out the other side, and you can just see it over the other side there above the buses, Let's get a clear view. You have Westminster Abbey. And also, over the other side of the road, you have the Jewel Tower, which we've also covered in the previous video, which put up there by royalty about the 1300s, another part of the palace. But anyway, right, let's go round here, around the Palace of Westminster. And as we go round, through a little bit of the hoarding that they've got up here. There we go. Lovely, into the sort of the forecourt. And then, not only have you got sort of the forecourt into the Palace of Westminster, over the other side, you've got the back area of Westminster Abbey. And on a day like this, with hardly any clouds in the sky, what a beautiful day. Right, let's just quickly look over there. And can you see the entrance there with the hedges and the plants just on top of it? Very nice. There we go. Lovely architecture. Right. Okay, so we're going to walk through here. I'm going to walk through Parliament Square. Now, I was thinking of walking up Whitehall, but that is going to be mad, because it's going to be absolutely packed. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut around the back, and we're going to go around the back of Horse Guards, round by the side of St James's Park. Once we've gone round there, well, we're not far from Trafalgar Square, and then up to Piccadilly. It really isn't that far. There you go, how about that? That is the rear end. If I can remember rightly, is that St Mary's Chapel? I'll have a look, I'll put it on there. But that's the far end, and that's beautiful in there. If you've never been to Westminster Abbey, can't recommend it highly enough. And that's a lovely thing I love doing about these videos, they're live. So you pick up all of the wonderful noise of the police force, etc. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to sneak round. And we're going to do that by going over the road here. This is a don't do as I do, please do as I say, because if you're not used to the traffic direction, you could get yourself into big trouble, especially with the road, with the traffic coming at you from a different direction. Yeah. Lovely. Then we have a big tourist group taking up the pavement. Let's step into the road. And here, so it looks like you can't get onto Parliament Square itself, so we're going to walk round. That amazing view, London Eye, Big Ben, and right round to the Palace of Westminster. Right, let's cut round Parliament Square. Now you've got Westminster Abbey, but by the side of Westminster Abbey, you've also got this church. And I must admit, we haven't been in there yet, but it's one we will cover in future videos. Because everyone looks at it and goes, oh, that's it. It's not. The Abbey is behind that. And there's Westminster Abbey there. Yeah, that's St Mary's Church, if I remember rightly. And this is where we're going to have fun and games. Because we join the people trying to get around. And we'll do that and come back to you. Well, I found out what the problem was. You've got lots and lots of groups from all over the world with people taking on guided tours of London, which is lovely, but stopping right in the middle of the pedestrian way. Anyway, that's the Supreme Court. That is the Privy Council, sorry, that's the Privy Council here. Oh, bless me. On Westminster, on Parliament Square. Abraham Lincoln statue. So you're from the US. So you want to hit that. That's facing over towards Parliament. That statue there. And now, hoping we'll escape most of the crowds and we'll go round the corner to Horse Guards, which runs parallel with Whitehall, but without everyone else cramming down there, because of course everyone wants to see 10 Downing Street in the front of Horse Guards, and we've covered that before. Well, I like the back of Horse Guards, but I've got a funny feeling it's going to have loads of seats set up, because I think very soon it's going to also be Trooping of the Colour. Everyone watching for the 1 o'clock chime, the Big Ben. Right, we'll give it a go. And that was it. Hopefully you caught that. It's the Big Ben, 1 o'clock. Yeah. Lots more people stopping, sitting on the wall. I guess if you're listening to that in another language, you can tell me what the translation is. Hopefully it wasn't swearing, in which case YouTube won't go ding for swearing. You never know. Anyway, we're going to whiz down here. This big building here is all part of the Treasury Office, run by the government. And they've got a big old office. The front is in Whitehall and the back is in Horse Guards around the back. We'll go past the back door of that in just a second. But also, what's nice about doing this walk, it's in the shade. Because believe you me, it's a warm one. Which is why, no hat. Well, so I thought, even though it's sunny, I'm not going to put any sunglasses on, because otherwise you'd just be looking at a bald head and a pair of sunglasses reflecting. So, and let's face it, no one wants that. So, I'm going to cut round here in a second. And this is interesting because a few weeks ago London Marathon came down here. All the marathon runners came down here towards Buckingham Palace, because Buckingham Palace is straight on down that way before they turned and then finished in the Mall, as they do every April for the 26.2 miles, finishing on the Mall to the front of Buckingham Palace, which, believe you me, having done it, is just sensational. An amazing feeling, especially when you see Buckingham Palace and you know that you've only got 200 yards left to go up the Mall, and everyone's shouting your name because you've got it on your t-shirt, not because they know you. I think it's just because that, because you put it on the shirt and everyone's shouting your name in encouragement, which is absolutely beautiful. Right, let's pop over. Make sure I don't get run over by mad cyclists. No, none there. Excellent. Now we're going into Horse Guards. The road is closed, which is good. And it's going to be a lot quieter, yes. And the road is closed because I think it's going to be Trooping of the Colour this weekend, in which case they've got it all set up, ready to go for that. So we might have to do a little detour through St James's. Anyway, we'll keep on going round. There you go, that's the back of the Treasury Office. As mentioned, look at the architecture of that. Wow, that's one heck of a building. I wonder what the rates are on that per year. Just asking for a taxpayer friend. Oh, that'd be me. Right, if you haven't done it and you love a bit of history, the Churchill War Rooms are just by the side of the Treasury there, where people are queuing to go in. That is phenomenal. My recommendation would be do it first thing in the morning, because then you beat everyone else to it, you get tickets, but also you can look at all the exhibits and you don't feel like you've been herded round. But that is, well, can only be described as phenomenal, well worth doing. Here we're at St James's Park. You've got the ice cream van there as well. You've got the pond. And I wonder, we've got the pond. Well, there's any pelicans? No sign of any pelicans on there today. Let's keep walking around. I'll tell you what we're going to do, because I think it looks like this road is actually closed up ahead, so we're going to pop through the gate, over the fence. There we go. And we'll come up round by the side of St James's Park. It's a little Swiss chalet. And all around here you've got the lake as well. St James's Park is just beautiful, lovely place to come anyway, in its own right. But when you're walking around London, and if you can do it around by the Royal Parks, can't recommend it highly enough, because it's just a lovely thing to do, and also just a nice breeze. And on a day like this, phenomenal. Right. Yep, so everything is set up for dripping of the colour. So that's all set up here, so everything is closed down here. That's the back here of Downing Street. So you can't get in there. Downing Street closed. Oh, I think it was 1991, I think it is. Downing Street up until then was open and you could get in there, which was lovely. But you can't any longer. You used to be able to just walk down there and almost go up to the front door. Well, policemen provided, of course. And you used to be able to go up to the front door of Downing Street. But now you can't. It's gated off. That's all because a missile was launched towards the Cabinet Office and 10 Downing Street. So they thought, we better close that off, and they did. So they have done since then. Okay, so as you go around St James's now, funnily enough, I was going to come up here for spring because they always have beautiful flowers, especially in this part here. Do you know what? I'm so glad we didn't, because they've got the beds all sorted, ready for planting, but there's nothing there. Normally, this is absolutely and utterly full of colour, so maybe they're just giving it a bit of rest. I'll just give you a view of what's going on over the other side. So that's normally horse guards, and you can go through. You can't at the moment because they're setting up for it, but we have been through there a number of times before, and you can just see the London Eye peeking out from over the top. So that's all set up. So St James's is beautiful. Actually, that's another great walk that we've done. So there are 5 Queen's Silver Jubilee walks, or Golden Jubilee walks. Basically, they did it for the Silver Jubilee, and then they just renewed them for the Golden Jubilee. And one of them takes you for a walk right around St James's Park. And I'll tell you what to do. I'll put a link to that at the back, because it takes in the Mall, takes in Horse Guards, but it also takes in Birdcage Walk, the middle of St James's Park. It's beautiful, absolute beautiful walk. It takes about 20-25 minutes, so it doesn't take that long at all, but well worth doing, well worth doing. Now what we're going to do, we're going to cut off a corner, so we're not even going to do Trafalgar Square. Actually, this is an even quicker walk. How long have we been going? Oh, about 15 minutes. And that's accounting for large crowds as well around by Parliament Square. But what we're going to then do is we're going to cross over the Mall here. And where we cross over the Mall here, oh, look at all the flags out. The Mall looking beautiful, especially with all the trees that have come to life this spring. Just love it with its greenery. Looks absolutely amazing. And we're going to go up past the Duke of York Memorial, which is that one there. Grand old Duke of York. But over the Mall, just give you a view down the Mall, there you are. Buckingham Palace at the far end, but all the beautiful flags, all the Union Jacks down there. So whatever distance we've been walking already, if we had another 4 or 5 minutes to it, if that, and we're at Piccadilly Circus. Crazy. Can't tell you how close everything is. It really is. That's what I love showing you on here, so you don't jump onto the tube, because actually take the tube journey, it's probably longer by the time you go up and down and change trains, because there isn't a direct line. You have to go to Westminster and change to get to Piccadilly Circus. Big old column that, you can't get up there. But that was put up, that's Frederick, Duke of York, and he lived between 1763 and 1827, and he was the second son of George I, Commander-in-Chief of the British Army, 1795 to 1809, and again in 1811. Ice cream vans, you can tell summer's coming. And then as we carry on walking up, Now we have featured this right at the very start, I think, but actually it's well worth doing. You're going to love this. So this is the Athenaeum Club, this beautiful white building here, and just look at the detailing. And in fact, I'm going to stop in a second. I'm going to have a couple of minutes of the video, only because it's worth pointing out it's a bit of history, but it's also well worth looking at the architecture. So if you look at it, it's a private club. Got the beautiful gold statue in the middle. And what we'll do is we'll pause for that so you can see it. So you've got the beautiful gold statue in the middle there, and above the beautiful gold statue you've got that wonderful frieze that goes round. Okay, but it's not that we're looking at, because it's an amazing building. It's this. Now this dates back to the Duke of Wellington. So outside the Athenaeum Club, and also on the other side as well of the road, these were put here. And the reason why is the Duke of Wellington would turn up in his carriage, and there'd be such a distance between his carriage and the ground, he needed a step. So they had these built outside. So these stones have been here since the Duke of Wellington, so he could get out of his carriage and go unaided into the Athenaeum Club, as opposed to have to jump down. And please don't tell me it's Stephen Fry from Blackadder. Yeah, I know he played it, but he didn't do it, all right? Definitely the real Duke of Wellington. Right. That was in a previous video we did, probably right at the beginning, so definitely well worth repeating. So we're now looking at Waterloo Place, which leads to Lower Regent Street, and then up, then get run over, onto Piccadilly Circus. Just goes to show you how close everything is. And this street, which is quite busy, is Pall Mall.
Even here, I mean, you always.
And to give you a bit of fact about Pall Mall, Pall Mall was given to it because that was the name of a game at the time, which was like tennis. And tennis was actually invented here, and tennis comes from the original game, which was called Pall Mall, where they used bats and balls to knock around. And they had original courts here on Pall Mall. Couldn't tell you which king or queen offhand, and who knows, it might have been old Henry. Statues there. London on a lovely blue sky day. Oh, by the way, if you are coming to London, there's loads and loads of galleries you can go in for free and have a look. This is one that we pop into every so often, because they do change around, but if you're coming to London for the first time, they've got a great Freddie Mercury in there. It's called Iconic Images Galleries. Completely free, good Elton John picture there as well at the entrance. Some Mick Jagger if you like the Rolling Stones, etc. There's some really lovely photos in there. And if you go in there, probably take you, depends how long you want to go in there for. Then they got prints you can buy as well. Not prints, but prints of the photos if you really want them. But it's worth just going in and having a good look. Lovely little gallery, completely free. And that's at the end here, that's Waterloo Place, which is at the end of Regent Street, St James's Street. Now we're going to carry on walking up. Lovely, got the flags out. I know what that could be for actually. We've got VE Day coming up shortly. So it could well be they've got it all closed up for VE Day celebrations. Aha, that could be it. Anyway, let's say we'll find out. And you can just about see the screen of Piccadilly Circus just up the top where the buses are turning. And that's where we're heading now. And we're almost there. Didn't take long, did it? All the way from Lambeth Bridge, round and through. But also, just think how healthy that is. All right, take away breathing in the air, etc. Actually doing the steps and how good you feel as a sense of achievement. And also there's some lovely cafes around here where you can get a nice coffee afterwards. Yeah, which seems like a shameless plug to our coffee channel. So if you fancy a coffee and having a look where you can go for a coffee around here, pop onto our YouTube channel, London Visited Coffee. Subscribe if you haven't done already, but also that'll tell you where you can come for a coffee. Nice shops, right. So we're now about to come up to Piccadilly Circus, where you've got Piccadilly coming off it, and you've also got Regent Street coming off it. And also behind Piccadilly Circus, there's some great coffee shops as well. There's all sorts of stuff here. Piccadilly Circus is great to be able to tick the box and say you've done it and seen it. And it's a big attraction, no doubt about it. It's going to, when we get there, it'll be absolutely packed, which is why I'm doing this bit to camera now. Because once I get there, it'll be like really loud. So I hope you've enjoyed our walk. And we've walked from Lambeth Bridge. But one of the things we've been doing on the channel is we've been doing all sorts of different London bridges and giving you the views from the London bridges. And it was because I was at Lambeth Bridge and I wasn't filming Lambeth Bridge, which made me think, oh, do you know what? Let's do the walk from here. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to put the view that you can get from Waterloo Bridge, which is a bridge not many people think about going to, and I'm going to put that in the top right hand corner as I then show you Piccadilly Circus, which is really a lot of TV screens going down the corner showing you adverts. And also in front of it you've got the Shaftesbury Memorial, which everyone calls it Eros, but actually it is probably known as the Shaftesbury Memorial. Let's call it Eros, a bit like Big Ben in it, another contentious thing. There you go, and you've got that up there.
Oh, Papa, they just
Brilliant. Hope you enjoyed that. Waterloo Bridge up in the top right hand corner, and we will catch you very soon in another video. Cheers for watching. Bye.